Despite international calls for a ceasefire, the fighting between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces continues across different front lines in the North African nation. The United Nations is most worried about the situation in Darfur, and the UN Security Council held an emergency meeting to discuss the crisis in El-Fasher. It's the capital city of Western Darfur and the latest flashpoint in Sudan's year-long civil war. El-Fasher is also the only city not yet under the control of the Rapid Support Forces in the Darfur region. U.S. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield warned of a looming large-scale massacre in El-Fasher unless fighting there stops.
As we speak, the RSF is planning an imminent attack on El-Fasher. As I've said before, history is repeating itself in Darfur in the worst possible way. And an attack on El-Fasher would be a disaster on top of a disaster. It would put 500,000 internally displaced persons at risk, people who traveled from across Darfur to seek refuge. And that's on top of the 2 million Sudanese who call El-Fasher home.
There are fears that the fighting could hamper the delivery of aid into Darfur, as El-Fasher is a key hub of several humanitarian agencies. According to reports, the Rapid Support Forces and their allied militia have burned down many villages west of El-Fasher and are planning to attack the city. The US and the UK are concerned about the unfolding situation.
Right now, 5 million people in Sudan are on the brink of famine, and tens of millions of people are in desperate need of aid. And yet the warring parties continue to obstruct humanitarian access and aid.
The Council is concerned about the humanitarian crisis, it's concerned about the scale of the famine risk, and it's concerned about the displacement of people. And we've heard in particular how troubling the problem of humanitarian access is, given the barriers imposed by both sides of the conflict on humanitarian aid.
The UN's humanitarian agency says over a dozen aid trucks are stranded in the neighboring North State and due to the security situation in El-Fasher. The UN estimates that at least 43 people have been killed in El-Fasher in recent weeks during attacks on the outskirts of the city. The situation in Western Darfur's capital is yet another reminder of how fighting is worsening the already dire humanitarian crisis in Sudan, where millions have been displaced and many are going hungry. Wanja Mungai, CGTN.